Today I am going to discuss about plant types, flowering plant, flower, pollination, fertilization, fruits and seeds. Let's start. The Five Kingdom System. The Five Kingdom System was proposed by R.H. Whitaker. Remember it, the Five Kingdom System proposed by R.H. Whitaker. R.H. Whitaker in 1969. In 1969. Okay. In 1969. So the Five Kingdom System classified as the Five Kingdom classification was proposed by R.H. Whitaker in 1969, which classified all living organisms in five major kingdoms. We see here Whitaker classified all living organism into five major kingdom. First one is Kingdom Monera. This includes bacteria or unicellular prokaryote. Bacteria is also a unicellular prokaryote. They do not have any nuclear membrane. Here they do not have any nuclear membrane or ideal nucleus. We can't see here. They may be photosynthetic or may be saprophytic or parasitic in nature. They mainly helping in the recycling of nutrients. We know bacteria helps in recycling of nutrients such as cyanobacteria. This is called cyanobacteria. The another name of cyanobacteria is blue-green algae. Blue-green algae. So here we see the Kingdom Monera. They includes unicellular prokaryotes or bacteria. They do not have any nuclear membrane. They may be photosynthetic or may be saprophytic or may be parasitic in nature. They mainly helping in the recycling of bacteria, mainly helping in the recycling of nutrients. Okay. Example of bacteria is cyanobacteria. This is blue-green algae. This is the example of bacteria and this is the Kingdom Monera. Okay. Next, Kingdom Protista. This group is a mixed group which include all the unicellular eukaryote. Monera is the unicellular prokaryote and the Protista is the unicellular eukaryote. They are unicellular with a true nucleus having nuclear membrane. There are no nuclear membrane, but in case of Protista, they are having nuclear membrane. They are both autotrophic or heterotrophic in nature. So Monera is parasitic or saprophytic or photosynthetic in nature, and in case of Protista we see this is autotrophic or heterotrophic in nature. Okay. They act as both producer. When they act as an autotrophic nature, then they act as a producer, and when they are in heterotrophic, then is act as a consumer. In case in an ecosystem. So they act as both producer and consumer. Example of protista, amoeba is the example of protista. Amoeba is a protozoa. You know amoeba is a protozoa, is the example of protista. Next, Chlamydomonas, an unicellular green algae, also an example of protista. So we can see the kingdom Monera. Let's repeat. We can see the kingdom Monera. They include all the unicellular prokaryote. But we can see in protista, this group is a mixture of unicellular eukaryote. So this is the unicellular prokaryote and this is the unicellular eukaryote. Okay, and Monera is parasitic, saprophytic and photosynthetic in nature, and protista is let's see, protista is autotrophic and heterotrophic in nature. Okay, or there are no nuclear membrane present, and here nuclear membrane is present. Bacteria act as bacteria actually helping in the recycling of nutrients. Bacteria, so function of the bacteria is recycling of nutrients. Okay, and we can see the example of Monera is bacteria such as cyanobacteria, blue green algae, also blue green algae, blue green algae. And the example of protista, there are Chlamydomonas, this is a unicellular green algae, amoeba, this is a protozoa. These are the example of protista. Next, the kingdom fungi. They are non-photosynthetic organism with cell wall. Here we can see the cell wall, but fungi is the non-photosynthetic organism. They have cell wall with chitin and true nucleus. The cell wall made of chitin and their true nucleus is present. They are saprophytic or parasitic in nature. They act as decomposer, helping in recycling of nutrients. And the example of fungi is yeast. Aspergillus, also agaricus is the example of fungi. Remember, the fungi are non-photosynthetic organism. Fungi are non-photosynthetic organism. Next, kingdom Plantae. They are true photosynthetic organism. They are true photosynthetic organism. They have a cellulose in cell wall. In case of Plantae, they have a cellulose in cell wall, and in case of fungi, cell wall is made of chitin. Cell wall is made of chitin, but in case of Plantae, cell wall is made of cellulose. Next, in case of Plantae, there are photosynthetic organism. Plantae is a photosynthetic organism because of the presence of chlorophyll. Here chlorophyll is present. They act as primary producer in the ecosystem. Okay. There are bryophyta. Another name of bryophyta is Riccia. Angiosperm. Example is angiosperm is mango. Also flowering plant is called angiosperm. So this is kingdom Plantae. Let's see kingdom Animalia. They include all the multicellular animal. Okay. They have membrane, true nucleus, but no chlorophyll presence. Here kintu no chlorophyll present. They are non-photosynthetic, no chlorophyll presence, so they are non-photosynthetic and exhibit holozoic nutrition and exhibit holozoic nutrition. They act as consumer in the ecosystem. Example of Animalia is cockroach, snail, human being. Also include the kingdom Animalia. Let's see. The kingdom Plantae is classified into algae, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperm and Angiosperm. Algae is the simple plant body without vascular tissue, or body is not differentiated into proper part, not differentiate into root, stem or this type of part. This is a simple plant body without vascular system because algae presents in water body. So vascular tissues are absent in algae. Here in case of algae, true roots are absent but presented by a holdfast like structure. True roots are absent but holdfast like structures are present in case of algae. And in case of stem, true stem also absent in case of algae. But higher forms may have non-woody branches with tube-like siphon within it. We can see in the higher form of algae a non-woody branches like or tube-like structure. Also leaf absent, stem absent and also ideal root absent. Also sheets absent in case of algae. The example of algae are Chara, that is Chara, Spirogyra are the example of algae. Let's see the difference between algae and fungi. In case of algae, the green pigment chlorophyll is present, okay, but in case of fungi never possess chlorophyll. This is the first basic difference between algae and fungi. Algae are autotrophs, okay, or autophytes. Algae are autophytes or autotrophic, but fungi are heterophytes or heterotrophic. Algae are autotrophic because they are able to synthesize their own food from simple inorganic material and presence of chlorophyll. And fungi are heterotroph or heterotrophic, or we can say heterophytes. They are unable to synthesize food matter. Fungi live as their parasite or saprophytes. They can present as a parasite or a saprophyte. Okay. Next, we can tell the cell wall of algae is composed of cellulose. The cell wall of algae is composed of cellulose, but the cell wall of fungi is composed of chitin. Cell wall of fungi is composed of chitin. Okay. In most algae, the reserve food is starch. The reserve food is starch. And in case of fungi, the main reserve food is glycogen. The main reserve food is glycogen. Okay. Algae possess both prokaryote, as in case of blue green algae, and eukaryote, also nature of cell structure, but fungi only possess eukaryotic. Fungi are eukaryotic in nature. According to cell structure, fungi are eukaryotic in nature. According to cell structure, algae possess both structural formation that are prokaryote and eukaryote also. So, algae are chlorophyll bearing autotrophic plants. Okay, and that it is the body structure like a thallus. So, this is thallophytes. Okay, this is also a thallophyte, thallus like structure. There are absence of root, proper root, stem and leaf. So, the structure of an algae is thallus like. So, this is thallophytes. Okay, algae may be free floating. They may be remain attached to the submerged stone or the or to the bodies of an plant on an animal in the water by means of organs of attachment. Okay, and this attachment called hold fast. By the hold fast, algae attached with the stone or any type of plant or animals. Algae may be aquatic or maybe semi aquatic or terrestrial, but majority are aquatic. Being found to occur in running and stagnant water also, and also in fresh water. The example of algae is Spirogyra, Chara. Example Spirogyra, Chara. The example of algae. And there are blue-green algae, green algae, yellow algae or golden algae, brown algae, red algae, also the different form of algae. Let's see Bryophyta, the amphibia of the plant kingdom. Bryophyta are essentially land inhabiting plants. Okay, but they are generally restricted to moist and shady place or as a box or damp rocks and damp trees also. In case of Bryophyta, the plant body with root-like rhizoid and short stem and simple leaf. Okay. In case of algae, there are absence of root, stem and leaf, but in case of Bryophyta, there are root-like rhizoid present and short stem and simple leaf present. Root represented by smooth wall like structure. Okay. In case of Bryophyta. Stem, but stem is non-woody and compact with thick wall. There are a lower form without leaf, but the higher form have simple leaf in case of Bryophyta, but sheets absent. Sheet absent in case of algae, in case of Bryophyta also. The example of Bryophyta is Rixia moss. The another name of Bryophyta is moss, and it is the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Okay, and in case of Pteridophyta, the plant body well differentiated into root, stem and fast form vascular tissue. Here the vascular tissue form fast. Okay, roots adventitious represent by rhizoid in case of Pteridophyta. Stem non-woody and true xylem and phloem are present. Leaf microphyllous and in the lower form, but compound in higher forms. Okay, and in case of sheet, megaspores present but no sheet. Megaspores present but no sheet. So Pteridophyta is the higher form in non-flowering plant. In case of non-flowering form, Pteridophyta is the higher form. Next, Gymnosperm. Gymnosperm, there are true roots present in Gymnosperm, and this is the, here gymno means naked. Gymnos means naked and sperma means sheet. Okay, so naked sheets are present here. Plants are saprophyte, majority are tall, woody or evergreen trees. In case of gymnosperm, we can see the evergreen trees in this gymnosperm. Plants are always heterosporous, and we can see the woody stem having vascular system in case of gymnosperm. Roots are adventitious root and stem wood, also true xylem and phloem observed. Okay, our leaves may be spiny or sometimes with broad lamina in case of gymnosperm. The example of gymnosperm is pinus, spinous, cycas are example of gymnosperm. Next, angiosperm. Angiosperm also woody plant, and xylem generally consists of trachea, xylem parenchyma, phloem parenchyma, and leaves are foliage leaves and brown scaly leaves are present in case of in case of gymnosperm. Foliage leaf and brown scaly leaves present, but in case of angiosperm, only green foliage leaves are present. Here in case of gymnosperm, no enclosed in fruit chamber, but in case of angiosperm, sheets remain enclosed within the fruit. This is the basic difference. Here in case of angiosperm, sheets remain enclosed within the fruit, but in case of gymnosperm, not enclosed in a fruit chamber. Okay. So angiosperm are the flowering plants. There are two types, monocotyledons and dicotyledons. In angiosperm there are two types, monocotyledons and dicotyledons. Let's see the kingdom Plantae. There are two types, embryo stage absent and embryo stage present. In case of algae, red, brown, green, we can see the embryo stage absent, and in case of embryo stage present in case of vascular tissue absent and vascular tissue present. In case of Bryophyta, there is a vascular tissue absent, and in case of Pteridophyta, there are vascular tissue present. In case of Pteridophyta, there are vascular tissue present. Next, we can see sheet present in a naked form or sheet naked in case of gymnosperm, and sheet cover inside the foot in case of angiosperm. This is the schematic structure of kingdom Plantae. Next, angiosperm. There are two types of angiosperm, monocotyledons and dicotyledons. Monocotyledons means embryo with one cotyledons, and dicotyledons means embryo with two cotyledons. Okay. In case of monocotyledons, plant body well differentiated with root, stem, leaf and vascular tissue. Root adventitious and non-woody structure. Their stem woody, cylindrical with xylem and phloem, and annual growth rings absent, but secondary growth present in case of monocotyledons. Okay, but in case of dicotyledons, plant body are vascular. In the plant body, vascular tissue having root, stem and leaves, mostly woody, taproot present, xylem woody with true xylem and phloem forming annual rim and during the secondary growth. In case of monocotyledons, there are no growth ring present or growth rings absent, but in case of dicotyledons, there are growth ring presence during secondary growth. Okay, there are growth ring present during secondary growth. there are single cotyledon presence. Remember, there are single cotyledon presence, but there are two cotyledons presence. Example of dicotyledons: mango. Different types of pulses are also example of dicotyledons. And monocotyledons, example of monocotyledons: paddy, rice, maize, etc. Next, we can see each sheet enclosed an embryo which can be examined after removing the sheet coat. After removing the sheet coat, we can see the embryo. The embryo consists of large white and kidney shaped cotyledons, and the embryo made of cotyledons or seed leaves. So we understand the embryo which can be examined examined after removing the sheet coat. In the inner part of sheet coat, we can see the embryo, and the embryo is consist of cotyledons, and this is called the seed leaves. There we can see the sheets. Here sheets is the product of fertilized ovule. Mind it, sheets is the product of fertilized ovule consisting of embryo enclosed by protective sheet coat, or coats developed from integument or integuments. Here we can see the structure of a sheets. Sheets is the product of fertilized ovule and consists of embryo and enclosed by protective sheet coat. Okay, and developed from integument, and developed from the integument. In case of angiosperm or close-sheeted plant, we know the angiosperm are close-sheeted plant. Here sheets are enclosed within the fruit, while in case of gymnosperm, sheets are naked, isn't it? Sheets are also exposed or not enclosed within the fruit. These are the basic difference between angiosperm and gymnosperm in the basis of sheets. In case of angiosperm, sheets are closed sheet plant. Sheets are enclosed within the fruit. But in case of gymnosperm, we can see the sheets are naked. Sheets are exposed and not enclosed within the fruits. Here mainly fruits are not formed. In case of gymnosperm, fruits are not formed, but in case of angiosperm, fruits are formed and sheets are enclosed within the fruit. Okay. These are the basic structure of a sheets. The different part of a sheets are plumule. The embryo of a sheet break open the sheet coat and developed into a radicle and plumule. Okay, radicle and plumule. The embryo of a sheet break open is dormancy or after germination. The sheet coat and develops into radicle and plumule. The radicals grow into root. The radicle grow into root, while the plumules grow into stem and branches and leaves also. In the initial stage, embryo use food stored in the seed leaves. Okay, seed leaves. But as it grow into a seedling and produce green leaves, start preparing its own food. So we can see the plumule with rudimentary leaves. Next, cotyledonous nodes, hypocotyle and radicle that is transformed into embryonic root. Okay, and we can see also microphyll, hilum and raphe. In case of flowering plants or in angiosperm, we can see the flower. Flower is a modified reproductive shoot tip. Okay, in case of angiosperm plant, and the pollination is the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma, whether of the same flower or of a different flower. Okay, in case of pollination we can see the transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma, whether of the same flower or of a different flower. This process is called pollination. There are different type of pollination: self pollination or cross pollination. In case of self pollination, we can see in self pollination in bisexual flower are generally self pollinated. Okay, and in case of cross pollination, it is the transfer of pollen grain from anther to one flower to the stigma of another flower. This is cross pollination. Okay, this is the basic difference between self pollination and cross pollination. Self pollination means autogamy and the cross pollination means allogamy. Self pollination occurs in the bisexual flowers, remember, and the cross pollination occurs between two flowers or unisexual flowers. Okay, but both cases pollen grains are transformed from anther to stigma. After pollination, fertilization occurs. Fertilization or syngamy. Fertilization is also called syngamy. Okay, this is the essential biological process of sexual reproduction. It is the union of two dissimilar sexual cells, that is male gamete and female gamete, resulting in the formation of zygote. After fertilization, some post-fertilization changes occurs. Zygote transform into embryo, and in case of embryo we can see plumule, cotyledons and radicle, and also endosperm occurs, and endosperm provide the nutrition in the form of starch to the embryo. Next, ovary transform into fruits, and embryo and sheet coat, embryo with sheet coat transform into sheet. These are the post fertilization changes. This is another representation. We know flower is the reproductive part of a plant. Okay, and the pollination is the transfer of pollen grain from the anther to stigma, whether of the same flower or of a different flower. This is the picture of an pollination by the help of some insects, birds or honey bee. They also help in pollination procedure. And after pollination, fertilization occurs, and fertilization is the essential biological procedure of sexual reproduction. Here union of two dissimilar sexual cells occurs, that is male gamete and female gamete, resulting in the formation of a zygote. This is a picture of a fertilization. And after fertilization, flower transform into fruit, and fruit bear seeds. Okay. Here we can see the picture of algae. This is the algae, the picture of algae, and this is a fungi, agaricus or mushroom. This is the picture of a bryophyta. Bryophyta is the amphibians in plant kingdom. In case of bryophyta, for fertilization water is needed, and it mainly grow in the dump or shady or near to the water bodies. So these are called amphibians in the plant kingdom. And next, pteridophyta. In the non-flowering plants group, pteridophyta is the higher group. And this is the picture of gymnosperm. Naked sheet, fruit not formed, sheets are naked. And this is the picture of angiosperm. Also fruits and flower available in this category. Next, germination. Okay, germination is the beginning of growth and development of the dormant embryo within the sheaths, which consist of various changes till its final development into seedling. Okay, the growth of a sheath into a seedling is called germination. Sheaths also require sunlight, water and air to grow. This growth takes place in the following format. This is when the sheaths is shown in the soil and receive water, air and temperature, it start growing, and the embryo of a sheath breaks open and sheath coats and developed into radicle and plumule. You can see in this picture, radicle and plumule are developed, and radicle grows into root and the plumule grows into stem, leaves. Radicle grows into root and from the plumule grows into stem, branch and leaves. In the initial stage, the embryo used food stored in the seed leaves, but as it grows into seedling and produced green leaves, it starts preparing its own food. The following conditions are necessary for the germination of seeds. Some external factors are water or moisture, supply of oxygen or air, suitable temperature and light. And the internal factors are food and oxygen content, completion of dormancy. Sheaths. There are two types of sheaths. One, non-endospermic or ex-albuminous sheaths. This type of sheaths store food material in their cotyledons. And second one is endospermic or albuminous sheaths. This type of sheath stores food material in endosperm. The example of non-endospermic sheaths are gram, pea, beans, almond and groundnut. And the example of endospermic sheaths are custard, maize, wheat, barley and grasses. Mainly non-endospermic sheaths are dicot and endospermic sheaths are monocot. Next, dispersal of sheaths and fruits. Mainly plants are fixed to the ground and cannot move from one place to another. Okay. If all baby plants grow near the parent's plant, not all would survive. They would not get enough sunlight, food, water and space to grow. Hence, there are some agents in nature to scatter these seeds. These agents carry the seeds or fruits away from the parent's plant. This process is called dispersal. Okay, the agent of dispersal. we consider dispersal is carried out by wind, water, or in animal, or by the explosion of fruits or explosive mechanism. Sheets of cotton, madder, hiptage are light and have wings, so they can easily carried by the wings. Next, in case of dispersal by water, the lotus fruit has a spongy part and the coconut has a fibrous outer covering to enable them to float on the water. So, in case of lotus and coconut, we can see dispersal by water. Okay. And dispersal by animal, there are human beings and animal eat fruits like cherry, mango and throw away their shit. Some seeds have spine or hook. They get stuck to the muddy place, and the bird also swallow some seeds which come out exchanging their dropping. Okay. And in case of dispersal by explosive mechanism, some fruits like pea in a pot burst open or explode when dry. In case of pea, isn't it? The force of explosion help to scatter the sheets. This is the dispersal by explosive mechanism. These are the basic structure of dicotyledonous or exalbuminous sheets. This is gram sheets. The sheet coats and kernel present, and sheet coats there are two part, testa and tegmen, and in case of embryo there are axis and cotyledon. There are two cotyledon present and axis are again divided into two part, primule and radicle. This is the basic structure of dicotyledonous sheets. This is the picture of dicotyledonous sheets. And this is the structure of monocotyledonous albuminous sheets. This is maize grain. There are two parts, sheet coat and pericarp fused to form an outer wall of the grain, and kernel. There are two parts, endosperm and embryo. From the embryo, axis and cotyledon, there are mainly one cotyledon, and the axis plumule and calliopotyle, and another part of the axis is radicle and calliorhiza. Remember it. This is the basic structure of monocotyledonous sheets. This is maize grain. This is the mode of reproduction in plant. There are three types of reproduction: vegetative propagation, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. In case of vegetative propagation, there are two types: natural vegetative propagation and artificial vegetative propagation. Mainly, root, stem and leaves are the vegetative part of a plant. Okay, root. Here, natural vegetative propagation occurs by root. Roots of sweet potato, turnip and radish not only store food but also have capability to grow into new plants when replanted. Okay. So, this is the natural vegetative propagation by root. We can see this type of vegetative propagation in case of sweet potato, turnip and radish also. In case of stem of rose, money plant, sugar cane are grown by planting by stem cutting. Okay, these stem cutting have several buds that grow into a new plant. Some plants like jasmine and grapevine can be grown by burying their branches in soil without detaching them from the parent plant. After a few days, we can see the root and the new plant grow. These new plant grow from the parent's plant. Okay, we can see in case of natural vegetative propagation by stem. Also, we can see the opposite of water hyacinth. We can also see the natural vegetative propagation by leaves. Leaves of some plant like Bryophyllum or Begonia have bud and edge which can grow into new plants. When these leaves fall into the ground, the bud grow into tiny new plant which later grow into bigger plant. Okay. There are another method, that is artificial vegetative propagation by cutting, grafting and micropropagation. Mainly micropropagation exhibit in the laboratory. In case of cutting, the example of cutting mango, rose, lemon artificially, and in case of grafting there are stalk and scion. Scion is the progressive part of an plant and attached both part or both stem, scion and stalk, attached and tied it, and from this part a new plant is arise. In case of mango, berries, peach, magnolia, we can see grafting technique, we can apply grafting technique. And in case of micropropagation, we can get new plant for a cell or a tissue or some part of a plant. In a laboratory, we can grow the new plant, or we can from a different some part of an plant body we can culture it and we can form the new plant. The example of micropropagation technique, we can apply this technique in case of orchids, gladius and chrysanthemum. Okay. So these are all about plant body, different types of plant, also flowering plant, non-flowering plant, and the germination, also pollination, fertilization and the reproduction also. These are the basic knowledge or the basic schematic view about plant.